Are you?
Yeah. Hey, Brian,
What?
what are you doing
No,
with that?
not near.
I was just going to use it for show and tell, but we could use it for other things too. Although we are limited on our, we might be limited on where we can put it.
All right. And then you're gonna have YouTube up and running.
Already is. I don't know if we say anything on the email about that though.
Well, the only one I know that asked me about it is Dave Cameron.
Yeah.
So.
How you doing, Pete?
Stuart, would you like that camera somewhere in particular? Not there. My wife's got first dibs on that. I asked what comes to her, whether I like it or not.
There you go. That's the key word. Save those?
I'm gonna save them, throw them in the bin. could set up that chair over by the mini lathe.
This one?
Yeah.
For me?
All right, we're
For
gonna get
you.
the meeting
Yeah.
started.
I'll get it. You're paying you back.
Well, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. Looks like we got a good crowd. Some faces I haven't seen in a few meetings, so it's always good to see old friends. I don't see anybody new, but how about, does everybody have their name tags? Do they, any that you couldn't find, Pete was asking about them? He can get them made for you if you don't have one. It helps me, remember everybody's name. So we'll start off with the officer reports. Get you going first, Pete, I guess.
Sure. So, officers report, beginning balance was $6,113.78. Coming in, we had 50/50 of $29 and $30 in donations. I bought that dust deputy from Bob Ball. Cash out for expenses with $269.16. Part of that was the grinder we bought from Joe for the new grinder we bought to use at the fair from Joe. We still have $500 for Aspire, $875 for the computer, with an ending balance of $596, or $5,963.62, with an adjusted balance of $4,588.62.
Okay. You got anything else for us?
Name tags, let me know. I have the t-shirt logos, if anyone wants them, they're $2 a piece. And I think that's it.
Great. Rick, you have anything you want to say?
It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
On the right side of the grass.
Yeah. Very good. Derek, you got anything for us?
My pen's still missing, so we're good.
That works. So we'll have notes. Have everybody seen the new newsletter? It's hats off. Derek's done an amazing job at putting that together. So.
Any recommendations for it, please just reach out and let me know. I mean, it's not set in stone, it was just something to make it easier on myself to get everything out to the group. So if anybody can think of anything they'd like to see in there that's not, or if I'm putting stuff in there you don't want in there, just let me know, please.
Next, I'm going to turn it over to Nigel. He's got some new information.
I just got comfortable.
Well, you should know better than that.
All right. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. We just had an event that raised money for the club at the Made for Good, Kenmore Village Improvement Society. Bob, Mark, myself were in attendance, and Rick's Bowls were also, Rick's work was also in attendance. And we raised $420.
$420.10.
Yeah, for the club. So a nice little bit of income. That store has some of our work, and whenever that sells, it comes back to the club. and this was a special event. Probably not as well attended as we had hoped, because it turned out to be on a hockey game night. Right, so the people who did show up just vanished right before puck drop. But still, it was a good night. We met some fun people. Might have recruited a couple of people for the club. We'll see. Now the Erie County Fair. We've had quite a bit of back and forth negotiating with the fair. They for the first time in living memory, they required us to sign a contract. When we reviewed the contract, we declined to sign it. They were offering a really limited number of tickets for our volunteers, and seemed quite opposed to the idea of giving us the amount of tickets that we needed, or giving us the amount of tickets that we had last year. So it took some negotiation, but I'm happy to say they've come around, and we're very, very close to having the number of tickets that we want. And so I think it's worked out very well. The next item is the inventory. I took a look at the inventory that Bob very kindly put together. I was conveniently away in Florida on the day that the inventory happened.
I have my partner in crime here.
Yeah. And Mark.
Mark.
Yeah. And what I've done, I printed copies of this. They're not enough for everybody here, but if you want to pass that around, there's a few. Okay, there's a few copies.
Nigel, is that different than the one you emailed?
I think it's almost identical. The one that I emailed was not to this membership, but was to the fair committee, I believe.
You emailed me one, because we talked about this at one of the prior meetings.
Okay.
It might be different.
Yeah, I've updated it. What I've done is, in addition to the inventory, I've now added a goal. So we know that we have a certain number of things in stock. What is our goal, and therefore what do we need? So as you look at this, what we're looking for is in the green column. So you won't have that because I've just completed this.
I'll put that on the website. Put that on the website.
Sure. Well, I can offer it to the website guru. Then it can go on the website. And so I don't want to run through this. You can all read it at your leisure. But what I wanted to focus on is some of a few things that maybe we can talk about as priority. Large bowls, we have 24 in stock, and the goal would be to have 50. So can we together somehow produce 26 large bowls? Large means 11 inches or greater. Turns out we've got one already,
Counts as two.
yeah, it pretty much does. It does. And then the spatulas. At our event the other night in Kenmore, they all sold. So it turns out they're very popular. So that's the good news. The bad news is we don't have any more in stock. So the goal would be, well, we have 4 spatulas in stock. The goal would be to have 50. So we're looking for 46 spatulas. If it hadn't occurred to me to do this, should we have a rolling pin turning workshop in order to produce more rolling pins?
How many are left?
Well, I don't know. There's none in the inventory. I thought there were a few.
It was very small.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the goal, I think, would be to have at least 25. And I think if we did a workshop, we could easily have 25 by the end of the day. But that means, first of all, asking Joe if we can use lathes. Thank you. So I'll put out a. I'll put yes, that's the word.
He said he'll turn 25 of them in his sleep.
Big button?
Gary's gonna turn 25 of them in his sleep. Take them a ventriloquist.
Well, then we'll increase the goal. All right, so I'll send out an email to the whole group and just let me know who's willing and able, and we'll have to come up with a date. We'll also have to come up with material. That's probably the harder one. So I'll start by looking around to see what there is. If we need to purchase, is that something that the club can?
I've got some rolling pin material.
You do?
Probably enough for an entire class.
Brilliant. That means you're coming to the class.
Maybe. Briefly, maybe.
All right.
Long enough to drop off the material.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. The other item that I thought there are two other items that I thought we could talk about. I meant to highlight side plates. I've been making plates recently. I've got two that I'll show you for show and tell, but anything ranging from just a little 5 or 6 inch up to an 8 inch. These are quick and easy to turn out of 3/4 inch material. And they're the sort of thing that I use at home for toast. I'd like to add, in addition to the spatulas, I'd like to add side plates to our menu of choices for the kitchen. If anybody wants, I'd offered a workshop, but I think it's going to take a while before there's a workshop slot available. If anybody wants to come to my workshop, I'll certainly be happy to demonstrate how I turn these. But they're pretty straightforward. The trick for me is that I use an expanding collet grip, so that I don't have to worry about matching a diameter out here, because I certainly don't have jaws large enough to grip on the outside. And you can grip as small as the standard 2 inch.
Hey Nigel, do you think it might be beneficial, like you said, there's probably not enough time to do a workshop or whatever. If and I'm sure Brian could help with this, I'm going to volunteer him anyways. It's probably something
Thanks.
you could do a short video on by making one at your workshop with somebody there with a camera, or at Joe's shop, that we could then put on YouTube for the club
Mhm.
Yeah.
to look at and go, if you want to make these plates, here's the most simple way to make them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, almost like you would find
Yeah,
any of these people
We'll share it to
teaching how
Facebook
to do
and
this.
Mhm.
Instagram, and everybody should
We
really.
might be able to do that for multiple items that we need for the fair.
Yeah.
If people are not sure how to do it or can't make a workshop at Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a
Showing
thought.
16 of the multicolored rolling pins.
Yeah, you have those as the fancy rolling
Yeah.
pins, which is great. We have 16. Are you volunteering to be the cameraman?
I mean, yeah, if we can find it, we can find a night we can all get together and do that.
Yep.
We can tape it, cut it up as neatly as possible so that it's not overwhelming for people. And then anybody can look it up and take their time watching it
Okay.
and trying to follow along.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, happy to do that. And then the other item that I thought we could focus on is Christmas trees. They're popular. People like them. They seem to have sold well, which is why we only have 11 now. And so I think we should aim for 50. And for some reason, unless I didn't do the math, that would mean we need 39. Is that right?
Yes.
I mean, these are goals. They could be up or down. I just got a message back from the scrollers. They're going to have between 100 and between 50 and 100 oven squirrels, which is great because those squirrels just scamper away. And then if you look at this list, otherwise there are certainly there's room for other things to be made, but I thought we'd focus today on large bowls, side plates, spatulas, rolling pins, and Christmas trees. We don't have a lot of time coming out on the fair. It feels like it's rushing towards us. Yeah, yeah.
Did you discuss, like, 'cause Tuesday I was going to Woodturners, and they were talking how they totally remodeled the inside of where everything is, and how,
Oh, right.
how where the Woodturners are gonna be now, and how the Woodturners space is shrinking, and there was talk about that Tuesday at the Woodturners.
You know, thank you. I didn't.
Like, 'cause they remodeled everything, I heard, you know, from the
Yeah,
Woodturners.
I don't think our space has shrunk.
That's what they were saying, you know,
Yeah.
like, cause they were saying, well, the Woodturners always, you know, want more and more space.
Oh, we're so demanding.
I'm just saying.
We
that
actually
was-
have less space than we had last year.
And how everything, they remodeled everything
Yeah,
inside.
it is
Yeah.
a cleaner look, but structurally it's the same building.
Yeah, it's gonna be a different layout.
They need to create pathways for the amount of people that go through this building. And that's really what's, been the big thing, is to help move people in a safe manner.
Yeah, that's what was discussed Tuesday, if there's a lightning storm that all of a sudden comes
Yeah.
on the fair.
They all come in there and you can't get out of the place. It's jam-packed.
Yeah.
So they've eliminated that. So from us being on the wall where we were previous, we're now in the center of the room. There's 4 columns. One used to be a big round one. It's no longer round. It's back to the smaller size.
Yeah, but what I'll do is send out the
map?
the layout
Yeah.
to this club. We only got agreement yesterday on the tickets, and so until that point, we were not committing. We were not signing the contract. Now we can move forward. I can send out the layout. You'll see how we're in the round now. Visitors, customers can walk all the way around and come in. I think it's going to be fine. It's just going to be different.
How do you fix for electricity?
We don't need it.
Lights?
We don't need it because they've improved the lighting, which
The
is
lights are amazing.
yeah. It really helps us. So we don't have to string up our own lights.
It'll be a much cleaner look.
Yeah.
You know what? Anytime there's change, it's always hard to accept. Oh, this is how we've been doing it. But it also helps us reinvent what we're doing and get better. So.
Shelving on.
That's
Shelving
that's
will be
right. We
gone.
won't have any shelving. That's right. Yeah. So it'll be different. Instead of having our stock on shelving behind, it's going to be in a room somewhere. And at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, we're going to have to bring it out and restock.
Are you still gonna be in the outside anywhere, or?
Yes, yes. And in fact, there'll be 2 tents this year. One for the scroll saws and one for us. So that'll be a change also. So I'll send out that layout. What am I doing? I'm sending out an email for a workshop. I'm organizing a
Read his notes. At the end of it.
Well, if your memory is anything like mine, if you don't write it down, it's gone. Yeah. I think that's it. Any other questions?
Turners too, now we're starting to have our Saturday, we're making a chessboard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then are being made, the boxes, so that Dean's in Alaska right now, but he's gonna start. If anybody's interested in going to Dean's shop, get a hold of me and we'll let you know when we're meeting and stuff.
Yeah.
If you've never been to Dean's shop,
Is he gonna be back in it?
he's got 2 weeks he's be done, so it's probably another week. So, if anybody's interested in going to it, it's an interesting shop, he's a woodworker.
Okay. That's
It is a very interesting place to go visit.
I'm gonna take this
It was
list, I have
cleaned out
3
the
of these,
last
I'm gonna
time I
take the
was
Turners
there.
too, let them know.
I'm sure that's changed.
great. That's fantastic.
No,
Yeah.
'cause it-
And I'll send it to you as a PDF as well.
One last thing about the fair that I wanted to say is that because of everything that's happening and all, you know, the demands being different from the fairgrounds, we have to be extremely accurate with numbers and all that. We have to have anybody who's working that fair has to be in sign-up. It's our only way of really tracking it,
Well, it's our only way of getting tickets.
and it's the only way of us getting tickets.
We-
So
we don't have a back door through
Yeah.
through Pepper.
it's one, if you're not in there, you know, we can't give you tickets. That's kind of where it's falling. So I implore you all to make sure that you're signing up. But if you need any help with signing up for that,
Yeah, let us know.
please let us know. We'd be happy to help you. I'll spend whatever time, and you know, I can come meet you at Tim Hortons or whatever. You know, I only require 1 cup of coffee from you. And
Well, I'm more expensive. I require beer.
it's true.
Nigel, what's the name of that store in Kenmore that some of the merchandise is?
It's called Made for Good. Yeah, and it's on Warren Avenue in Kenmore. And that's another thing. I'll send out information about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a nice little shop. Everything in there's handmade. So
Oh, which reminds me, wait a minute. Kenmore Village Improvement Society. They have, the Kenmore Village Improvement Society is now the sole sponsor of the flyer that we're going to put out. We're going to have a professionally printed flyer. We've always had well, I don't know if we've had flyers at the fair that lists all the clubs and tells people who we are and why we do what we do. So they're sponsoring up to paying $250, so it'll be professionally printed and they'll be acknowledged on the flyer.
it's on cardstock. It's beautiful. So
What are the players doing?
we hand them out at the fair. It's a good way to educate people on all the woodworking clubs that are in the area, because we answer a million questions, and you know, from individuals like, well, who do you belong to? Where do you meet? And this is it gives the list of the 6 clubs that are around here.
You give them out to Rockwood Lumber?
If we have extras, we do.
I know like they're having their open house May 30th, Saturday, May 30th.
Yeah. Pete and I will be there. Yeah, we probably won't have the flyers done by then. But we have a card that we give out too. So the sign up. I'm working with Max today about it. He sent me the link, but it didn't. I couldn't get in, so I sent him back a thing. So when he gets back to me on it, I'll get it out to everybody, so we have the link out to the masses.
Yeah, and I realize that Erie County Fair and Make-A-Wish is not the only thing that this club does, but it does become the focus at this time of year, and everybody has been so fantastic over the years in making things for the fair and then contributing huge amounts of time at the fair, demonstrating, selling, and we want this year to be a success, much as it was last year. So one of the things that can help with that is if you look at this list and think there's something there that's missing, please let me know. If you look at it and say, well, yep.
Refrigerator.
Excuse me?
Refrigerator magnets. I didn't see it.
Fridge magnets.
Yeah. Is that something we've done before?
We've done some. Scroll Stars do a bunch usually. We haven't made them in a few years ourselves, but that's a good opportunity. If either they go. So.
Yeah. I mean, for example, we didn't have dibbers on the list. Now, and this list is generated from what's in inventory, so anything that's new is not going to show up, but I will be adding. So that's a great thing to add. Now we have
15.
We have a kitchen department and we now have a garden department. also, you know, if you want to look at this and say, oh, there's a thing here that we need, I'll take care of it. I would love to hear that. Dibbers.
You were passing around a couple lists, but we haven't got back here.
Are we?
Well, the boys and girls have to share. But again, I will be sending it out by email.
We got no lights back there, I can see.
All right, I think I've talked enough.
So.
Wow, I heard that.
Holy smokes, tough crowd.
So we had, last month, we had the President's Challenge of Flowers. You see there's some on the table, they look great. You know, you can still bring them in another time if you do any. It was just an interesting demo, I thought. When I get back to turning, I will probably, you know, give it a try myself. Last month we talked a little bit about club bylaws, okay? And I sent out a copy for everybody's review. I did get some feedback on some of it, and I went through and actually corrected a couple typos that were in there. And then we cleaned up the mission statement a little bit. Basically it says now our mission is to help foster passion for wood turning arts. We will provide educational demos, information, and support to our members to help them grow in their wood turning journey. We have strived to support our community through programs and projects that will help make a difference in Western New York region. And we did that so it's not locked into these two things that we usually do in case something happens and one goes away or things change in the future. So that was the gist of that. So I'm going to reiterate a little bit about why we're doing things. It started off with, you know, looking at the club. It has been in existence for quite a few years, and you know, I asked, is there bylaws? And you know, there was one time, but nobody knew where they were or what the, you know, so as we started looking into stuff, we found that we didn't have a lot of things that might protect the officers in the event, because now we're signing contracts. So being incorporated, you need to have bylaws to put in for that. So one thing leads to another. It's recommended by the AAW that we have all these things in place. So another thing that, you know, reason we wanted to look at this. I don't want to be president forever. So, you know, we have time frames and stuff like that associated with it. We have little bits of information that kind of give us a background on where we should go in the future, because frankly we're getting new members in, we're getting younger people in, and eventually all of the people that are my age, your age, are going to, you know, phase out eventually, and this is to keep the club going past us. The big things, you know, have to do with all the changes and stuff that are happening. We carry, you know, we had to submit $1 million insurance policy to go into the fair. Okay? And that's something we've never been asked for before. We had that, okay? But we had to make sure that they have it on file. We have to sign contracts, like Nigel mentioned. We've signed a couple of them this year for different things that we do. These areas are demanding that we do this, and we had to refuse to sign it the first time it was given to us, because it just wasn't acceptable what they were holding us accountable for, and for us to be able to be successful in what we were trying to do. So all those things, you know, are kind of, how do you build a foundation that can support that and not have anything happen to this club in the long term? The other thing is, we need, I wanted to, put it up for a vote on the bylaws now. And you've had a month to, if you wanted to look them over, they were there. The second part of that is, and it's mentioned in the bylaws, is to maybe become a not-for-profit. Okay, it's a 501c3, okay? It's a not-for-profit under education. It's what most of the clubs in the area are, as far as the Woodturners, Finger Lakes, Lockport is going through it right now. I think Club 2 is already there. So it's nothing that others aren't doing, and it opens us up to some perks that we can get, like grants and stuff like that for the future, for our growth, and ways of helping us keep this momentum going, and everything that our founders created still moving forward, for the next generations. I know that's for me, one of the most important things. So, the first thing I'd like to do is put up for a vote those who would be in favor of accepting the bylaws. So, that'll be our first vote. So, so it looks like we have unanimous, okay? So thank you for that. What we'll do is, I got a couple copies. Rick, you're on it, so you're gonna sign tonight. Derek, before you have to run out, I'll have you sign them.
Okay.
I got one copy that we're gonna give to Peter. He puts them in our records. He has a good system set up now where we can keep all this stuff. And then the other one we're gonna send into AAW for their approval, okay? The second part is, and be open and honest, what do you guys think about becoming a not-for-profit? I looked into the tax implications, okay, of what it takes. Because we're such a low volume, under 55,000, it's an easy form online. It's very short. Yeah, Rick.
Norm, do you know where you got that number from the last time we had an effort?
What number?
We had an
The IE.
The EIN number?
The EIN number, yeah.
Yeah, I have it.
We have it from the bank files.
Right.
Okay.
So we need that in order to go forward to become,
A non-for-profit.
incorporated and non-for-profit. So we take that EIN number when we fill out the forms and submit it, and use that.
So, the costs were around $250, I think,
I think so. I
somewhere in
don't
that
remember
neighborhood
off
for
the
us
top
to
of my
do
head.
all this.
You're going for a new number.
No.
Is this the one we had?
We're not applying for a new EIN number. We're turning the club into, it's gonna become incorporated, and then we're turning the club into a non-for-profit.
The incorporated protects, people from individually being focused on, okay? The non-for-profit opens up opportunities for us down the road.
Non-for-profit number is what we already had. That's just trying to see if we
Well,
can't
that-
freeze.
So-
No, because you can lose, if you don't keep up
Yeah.
on
If you don't.
submitting the information you're supposed to submit and submitting the tax forms properly, you can keep, your EIN stays because it's part of the group, but the not-for-profit status goes away because you don't continue to keep up on all the paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do now is reinstate the not-for-profit under a 501c using the same EIN number. It used to be not-for-profit and they took that status away from the group.
Right,
at
right.
one
Yeah,
point
if you don't,
because
I think
none
it's
of the
3
paperwork
years
was
of not,
Right.
it
Once
goes
you-
away.
Right.
You got 3 years. So that's why it's not for a new EIN, it's just to reinstate
Right.
the EIN as a not-for-profit.
Non-for-profit.
So, what are people's thoughts?
Is there a downside to making this change?
Well, right now, we're not filing anything with the government. So it's kind of under the radar. Part of it is, you know, we're selling goods in a store. They're gonna be turning in their taxes, and, you know, checks are coming to us. If they ever got audited for some reason, does the trail lead downward? I don't know. You know, it's a gamble.
Okay.
So,
If we're on a property,
yeah.
and we were to purchase the supplies for the club, I mean, then are exempt from taxes.
That's a separate thing, but that would be part of what we would file for too, tax exempt from it. So like if we were bulk buying stuff or something like that, we could utilize that kind of thing.
Or if we bought supplies from the same place on a regular basis, we could file, tax exempt form with that store or whatever, and when we go and buy it, it's tax exempt.
I think you also have to watch the amount of money we have in the treasury, because it gets to a certain point, they come back to us.
Correct. So it's always about balance. We'd like to see, you know, the club have opportunities to bring in a Turner or so, you know, in the future, if we can get up into that kind of range. Purchase of equipment, you know, that we may need, to keep growing it and keep, helping people learn and develop, you know, skills in this, you know, realm, you know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're all here for, is to help learn from each other and continue to grow our expertise in this field.
Foster the art.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts? No? Why don't we do a vote on it?
Sure.
All in favor? Looks like we, have an easy one. So, we'll, start some paperwork on that to try to get that moving. Thank you again. This made it a lot easier than, Rod, if anybody has any thoughts afterwards, pick up the phone and call me. I'm happy to talk to anybody. And we'll, you know, I take everything that I hear from you guys, to heart. I really appreciate when I get feedback, and I got thick skin, so if you have criticism, don't worry about it, okay? Just tell me. Here he goes.
No criticism. I think these guys are doing a great job. It's probably something that we're really looking forward to see the end of this.
Yeah,
You know,
I
it's a good start.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think we all will, thank you.
Well, thank you. Really, it's all for this group. You know, I only joined a few years ago, and, you know, it's been a great, you know, you become my family. These are the guys I hang out with, so I appreciate everything that I've learned from you guys, and I just want to see this continue and further generations.
You see how much work these guys put in.
Yeah.
You probably spend hours and hours and hours on it.
We kind of like it.
Glutton for punishment, huh?
Yeah, so.
Pretty much.
All right. So that being said, tonight we're gonna have a great demo. We'll get the show and tell done first, and we'll do the drawings. But Stu is gonna be doing a demo on something I've seen him do before, and I was really excited because he's gonna do it again for us. It's a tool that he made, and I know he uses it a lot. So it's a little bit different than our normal demos on the lathe, you know, so I think that's important. And then next month, we have Rockler coming in to talk about finishes and different types of finishes that you can use and how to utilize them and what kind of results you can get from them. So we're trying to keep, again, some more interesting, different types of demos going. I appreciate everybody who's done one, and if you feel that you'd like to do something as simple as it is, or something you feel really comfortable with, let me know, because that's one of the things I found by doing the demos, it helps me get better at what I do, because you gotta think about your pattern of what you're gonna do first. How am I gonna say this so the group understands? And you become a better turner from doing those things. So please don't hesitate to volunteer for that. And I won't ask for anybody else to volunteer for anything else tonight, because I seem to do that every meeting. So why don't we start with our show and tell President's Challenge things, and we'll get some pictures with this, and we'll move on from there.
We're just, getting out of those, everybody can go home now.
This is perfect. I found this is like the perfect spot for the show and tell.
Hi, my name is Rick Rosa. About 3 years ago, Bob called us up and said he had a bunch of silver maple that was being cut, these huge trees out in Lancaster, and do we want to come out and get some? So I don't know, probably a dozen of us went out there and brought saws and cut this stuff up and brought trailer loads. Some people even overloaded their pickups dangerously to bring stuff back. But this is the first piece I got out of it that's dry that I could finish turn. So it's pretty nice wood that came out of there. And there is a bunch of this left at Joe's. Some of it has some cracks, but the pieces are so big, you can cut the cracks off and still come up with stuff like this. So, and this is going to Nigel for the fair.
It's going to be temporarily.
The finish is long out of oil, and it was not fun.
Beautiful. All right, thank you. I'm gonna throw frisbees. I don't remember if I've showed these before, but the reason for showing them is twofold. This is scrap wood that's free that was up in Joe's attic, and just I wouldn't normally turn red oak, but quarter sawn. It's really beautiful, and I got a pair of nice plates out of it. The second reason, of course, is let's make some plates for the fair.
Stuart Weismore.
Sorry, who are you?
Stuart Weismore. And you? Wise guy.
Wise guy, that's right.
This is a bowl I started to cut out, which I was going to use for tonight's demo, and it decided not to even do that, not to cut it apart. I liked the way it looked. I didn't want to cut it apart. So it cut a lot better than I thought. Had a lot of wormholes in it. So I filled them in. I have what the heck is it's a dye that you can use in epoxy. It's a powdered dye, and I mixed it with baking soda and just smeared it on here with a popsicle stick. Was able to sand it off, so it put a little bit of color in the wormholes for me.
Stuart, why baking soda?
It hardens up like a rock. When CA glue hits it, it just turns to stone. Very hard to sand, everything. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Do you find that's easier to do than just mixing that powder with the CA glue and filling the holes?
Dries instantly.
Awesome. Nice.
And then I'm also a member of the Finger Lakes Club. They did a demo, David Day's demo, on doing this basket weave. Borrowed Joe's tools because I wanted to try it. It was fun. It didn't take much work except for the mathematics and that type stuff, setting it up. So I did two things with it. Kind of liked it. always looked very hard the way David does it because he's so proficient at it.
There's
So-
a great program that you can actually download for free
Okay.
that lays out the pattern for you. I'll send out the link to you guys if you want, and it's a pretty cool thing. You know, you can just lay it out there and kind of get your pattern for your graph, and then you color in by hand after you print it.
I don't always do wood turning. This is probably about a 20-hour project of scrap wood that made for the grandson. The younger grandson, I made him a fire truck, as I showed last month. And it's just scraps, something simple, easy.
It's a spoiled grandson.
Yeah, I hope he likes it, you know. So, but just something different to do other than turning a bolt.
Yep, nice.
Get grandson, yeah.
Hi, Mark Levan. Couple pieces I turned. This is a burl I had laying around the basement for a couple years. Finally got into it, and when I first started turning it, I asked wife what she thought of it, and she said throw it away. Then I started sanding a little bit more and put a sanding paste on it, and it showed up pretty good. She decided to keep it. And then I got into this last month and finished this up. I just finished buffing it yesterday, and my daughter-in-law's claimed this one. But it
You
turned out
need to
pretty
start hiding your work.
Yeah, that just doesn't work for me. But they came out pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Jack Lucernoni, Prez said make flowers, so we made flowers. Some tulips out of some sapele, just some Howard's feed and wax for finish. There's some, I guess they're daffodils, they're flowers. Out of found on ground branches, not sure. These are same finish. And then just a couple of spatulas out of the blanks that Nigel brought the last meeting, finished with walnut oil.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
I'm David Day. I have 3 pieces that I want to share with you tonight. The first is just a piece of black walnut. There was about a 2-inch thick piece of walnut that was in the basement, and for how long I have no idea. But I decided to just make a small bowl out of it, and when I opened it up, my heavens! Look at the grain, the color. It's just on both sides, just beautiful, beautiful piece of wood. And thank Mother Nature for that. And the finish on this is just an oil and wax. That's all. Here's another piece of black walnut. This was, of course, a larger piece. When I opened it up and turned the shape of it, there was a big hole in the bottom of it. Now, sometimes artists will leave the hole open, but I'm not an artist, but the hole here just took away from the piece, and so I decided to fill it, first of all, with brass, and the brass was uneven, and I couldn't get it smooth on both the inside and the outside. And so what I decided was to take some oh, come on, help me out.
Epoxy or CA?
Yeah. And dust, and put it in with the brass on both the inside and outside, and it's not bad. Not a bad piece. This next is something for those of you who are looking for something to make for the fair. This is a trivet. I made this. The corks are from wine. I drink wine, not ashamed to say that. And I've got lots of corks that I've saved. And I've made this, I'd made a couple of trivets before for the fair. But I just thought that this would be something that might be of interest to folks in the fair. If any of you were interested in making wine cork trivets, let me know. I have many. I drink a lot.
David, how do you glue the corks in?
How do I what?
How do you glue in the corks?
A dollop of CA glue and just place them.
Huh.
They're all placed by hand.
Dave, the diameter's slightly different on each cork.
Not so much. I mean, there are larger and smaller corks, but it doesn't make any difference because you just work around the circle, and you sometimes have to force one in, but it works. Okay. And I've turned this, or placed these, I should say, with the wine part of the cork facing up, which gives it another dimension.
Some more pizza cutters for the fair. I have a box of, I don't know. I did a total of 14 pizza cutters. I have 6 more to do. I'll have those at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Offers donate those?
Yes.
Why didn't you make it a club project where other people turn in those with me? How you doing, guys? I'm Gary Jones. I got home from Florida 2 weeks ago for tomorrow. A cousin of mine's son had a house, bought a house, so I made him a bowl. And thanks to David Day, I got the crack sealed up and gave a demo on that. I got an invitation to my niece's husband birthday Saturday, so I got this off the lathe yesterday. So I've been busy since I've been home, and I started making my chess pieces. I got the blanks and I got the pawns. I got both colored pawns. Dean told me make them a 1/4 inch longer. So I get the one blank he gave me. It's 2 1/4 inches. So I started making 2 1/2 inch pawns. I did a couple of reach in, get a blank. Here's another one 2 inches tall. I think they're supposed to be 2 1/4. But I'll just get blanks and start making them. Once you make one, you just keep making them. But that's the nice project. If anybody's interested in going to his shop, he's really interested in going to his shop.
You
Okay?
can come to my house. I'll make you coffee and I'll make you cookies if you bring the wall.
Gene Renzoni, I saw Nigel's list that we're short of doorstops. The nice thing about this is when you turn one, it's 2 feet. So, once you turn it, just cut it in half. Now you have 2.
It's great. It looks like we got through that. So we're going to pick somebody for a gift card. Want to pull one out of there? Okay. So this is for the show and tell. Last 4 numbers, 7772. Look at that.
Who is it?
Nigel.
It was rigged.
Do you want Rockler or Joe?
Oh.
I mean, not Rockler, Woodcraft or Joe? Please.
Why don't we take 5 minutes and then we'll get started with Stuart's demo.
About 50-50 after 50-50.
Can we do the 50?
Oh, 50-50. Oh, yeah. Totally. You see, I'm not following my list. I gotta be on the list. So, 50-50.
Sir. This. Yeah.
Okay, 50-50. 7846.
We do.
Nice. It's about time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, you got 28.
28.
Yeah, and we have 28.
Very good. $28. Very good. Thank you.
She buys lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, that's, I would say so.
I'll put it in your pocket though.
Very good. All right, so now we'll take a couple minutes and we'll get back to with Stuart's demo at the end. Say I'm halfway there, caught in traffic.
By the time they actually did the passes off the plane,
Find your luggage.
yeah. I
Question
knew I had,
for you.
I didn't know.
So those pictures I made, I didn't
No,
mark them.
maybe not that long,
Wood or
but
anything, because I wasn't sure
long
where.
enough.
Well, if you're not there, you're not
Mark
there.
them on the,
And
should
yeah,
I, or?
that's more than probably.
If you mark them, we could always do it on, I think I got some tags that are on string.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can put that around it. That might be,
Because they're just,
Yeah.
most of them are that figure eight balls.
but, yeah.
Well, I remember you saying, you said, or somebody said last week, I made it, and I'm like, I'm not really sure where to
Yeah.
put it.
I usually tell, you know, like on things that I sell, you know, because I do shows and stuff like that, I do a tag on the side.
Oh,
You know.
yeah, that's, yeah.
It seems to be an easy way to kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
put down what it is, but that's great.
A lot of, well, my grandmother bought a house in the wintertime. Stuart used to stay in the She called a couple companies out. Yeah, you need drainage. Where the hell you gonna put drainage? There's a driveway, which you don't wanna tear up the driveway, and there's this much room on the other side of the house from the other guy's driveway, so you can't.
It could be worse. That's my walkout basement. A little bit of water around it. A lot of water. About a foot and a half or so below the basement level. We're digging from the frost wall. There's water and everything. I thought it was from dad from that. It would disappear. Oh, it rained. We had the other day.
Just we'll fast track.
Problem is, a couple people know that there's a clay layer. It's only a couple feet thick. So I'm thinking there's gonna be a slab there. I thought I put a slab, dig a hole through the clay layer below it. There's still some clay in that below it, but it's sand mixed into. Dig a hole, fill with stone, cover the top of it. Hopefully it's a place for the water to go.
We turned the house on one time. Go over the spring. They gave it to this time.
Josh Allen's house. He has a condex in his house, right? He has a golf simulator in the basement. The golf simulator is so
What's that?
Or I was thinking, you know, when
Yeah.
people are there, maybe I take one of these and set them on the desk up there, and then use the other one for the demo.
All right, let's get back to our seats. We'll get Stuart started here.
Where's your gavel?
It's up there. I can't reach that high with my arms.
You should have said so. Can this camera come that way more if need be, or?
Which one? This one here?
Yeah.
You can zoom in.
You want me to zoom in on it?
Go for it. Do what you want.
Yeah, that one's a bit too thick.
I'm the computer operator. You're the camera operator.
I made a pair of those, and a lady was looking at them in our evening the other day, and she said, "Oh, I'll buy it." And I said, "Well, what do you mean you're gonna buy it? Surely you don't leave his brother behind." She did.
Really?
Yeah.
You couldn't shave her in the back?
I tried.
You know.
And it was, you know, it was a 14
All right.
purchase. Oh well.
We ready for this? Stuart,
Okay,
it's all yours.
pretty sure all of you know how to turn a bowl.
I don't.
You don't? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a little bit. And this isn't my design. This is a gentleman by the name of John Beaver who came up with this to alter the shape of a bowl, make it a little more interesting other than, you know, just a plain looking old bowl. So by doing that, he's put a rim around the bowl and called it a wavy bowl. I first saw this helping Joe out work at his house in his basement, but he wouldn't show me how to do it because he said it takes too long. So, but I was intrigued with it. I really was, and so I had to look the guy up, pay for his video in order to figure out how the hell he made the jig in order to do this particular thing. So, and again, it's come up through his different years, come up with different designs where recessed it in place. Okay, so comes apart so that you can cut the inner piece and then glue it back in. The nice thing about this little apparatus that I'm going to show you, it cuts perfectly the same every single time. I mean, no matter what piece of wood I put on there, the way this thing moves, I can take a piece of wood, couple different species, and put them together. It cuts it the same every time. Never, haven't had any flaws with it. So, and I didn't ever think I'd use the damn jig as much as I have. So, he's done it a couple different ways without even using the jig. I just taking a square block of wood and cutting it freehand on the bandsaw. So if you're following the grain of your piece here and mark out, you can cut this shape to take this piece out. And I've done is I've taken some 1/4 inch pieces that I've laminated together by soaking them in water, put them in a microwave for about 1.5 minutes. They're piping hot for about 45 seconds. At that point, you can, if you cut it, could save that piece of wood for some other project that you wanna cut, because it's gonna be the same. I can insert this and add different color to the piece and glue this together. So, when I did this was earlier in the month. I don't know, I think it's lost a little bit of its shape because you have to glue them together or fasten them together pretty quickly. But, you know, it's pretty simple just that way, and clamping the thing together solidly. Where the hell was it? Yes, sir.
Right under the microphone, put it on you too on the other side.
What?
Got a little microphone right there.
This is a microphone, huh? Yeah. Hello! Sweet. Okay?
Sure.
You hear me now? Okay.
What?
What's that? Okay. So if you've glued these units together, you end up putting dowels through here to hold this in place, which is what I've got inside of this. This particular piece I cut twice in order to get that rim in there. I did, while it was a square block, so that's, by putting the dowels inside of this, I was able to put it back together and then recut it and pull it apart again to recut the line in there twice. So it pretty simple when you're using the jig. If you try to keep a simple oval type shape with these, it will not only show outside. If you use a colored piece of wood, it'll show up inside of the bowl also, as I have in you can on this one here, it actually shows up inside of this also, where you can see that it was actual 3 pieces of wood. This one that I cut with the insert in the center here, to me it was a lot easier than it was trying to get it on the outside, because you're just sanding the shape out of it. So when I finish cutting that piece with the red in it, I'm going to leave this lip so that it looks like there's a red bowl sitting inside of the other bowl, is what I hope to accomplish. But I wanted to leave it apart at this point. So, this was one that I was doing, and after I was cutting it with the piece sticking out, I blew it up on the lathe. Well, I was still able to save the bowl because I still had the spigot on the end. I was able to put it back on the cutting jig, recut it to get my shape. And these were just scrap pieces that I had cut from a couple different bowls that I started. So at that point I could make a lidded box out of it. So nothing was lost. I mean, because it's so damn handy. Yes.
When you soak it in water, how long do you leave it soaking in the water for?
Oh, I put it in, wrap it in paper towels while it's wet and stick it in the microwave right away. I don't even, it's in there for a minute and a half. If it's a quarter of an inch or less, it'll bend real easy for you. Just make sure that you're bending it with the grain running the same direction. Don't have to. Just put it in. Just put it in the paper towels. Pour water on it while it's on the tray. Yeah, don't have to soak it in for any period of time. No. So, but I've used this damn thing for so many different things, and it's a simple, pretty simple jig. This was, this was originally my circle cutter that use on the bandsaw. So we've had a lot of different holes drilled for sizes of bowls to drill through. Okay. Where this guy came up with this idea. This basically slides as a sled now on top of this. So with the way this is fixed, this is the same saw that I have at my home. And the center of this jig needs to be lined up with the front of the teeth of the whatever blade you're cutting on here. So I've got a center mark on there. At that point I can clamp this thing up on here. I use mine so much I've drilled a hole through my table at home. This is what actually holds our everything together here. So this will just slide like this. Where the hell was I? I can put this on. Can you see me now? So at this point, and this is just a sample, I can make pretty much any size bowl I want for doing this, because I can raise this and lower it. The gentleman who made this system up, he had like 4 holes drilled for different heights. I had it that way at one point. I like the fact that I can move it up and down easier by doing this. Basically what I did is I bought a large bolt and nut from McMaster Car, which fit my chuck, so that I was able to screw this on the back here, and it holds everything perfectly aligned. And the nice thing too is if I mess some kind of a bowl up or whatever that I'm cutting and I want to salvage a piece of it, I can use it on here. I can jig it together. I can slide this through because of the piece that I've got here. I can slide the whole apparatus through. Put a couple screws in this to keep it perfectly square and slide it back and forth. So I can get a straight cut also, a good straight cut for anything I want. With this here now, the fact that if I butt that straight up against there, the blade, and take and put a center mark on this, which is where the it's touching the blade. Now I can back it off, determine how far I want the bowl, the wave to be. I guess if I can see one of those. Where's? Oh, you're keeping them all.
Somebody put them in their bag.
Oh, apparently. Being that the top of the bowl, I want measure the distance that I want to be from the front to the front top edge of this. So if I'm back about 3/4 of an inch, if I'm back about 3/4 of an inch, all I have to do is move this forward from my line . Move it forward 3/4. At this point, now I can start my cut. Everything is solid where it needs to be. Now you got to do a very slow, steady cut because you don't want to get saw blade to stop marks to make it stop. Nice, straight, smooth cut.
What blade you have?
I don't know. This looks like about a 3/8 by number 6, I would guess. Whatever it was the school had in here. I was surprised it was sharp besides. Okay, so I had my mark at 3/4 where I was at. Where'd my At that point, I just want to move it another 1/4. Depending on the size that I was looking to put in there. And it's the same thing. I can but you can see it gives me a good, very good cut. This was a different bowl that I messed up, and I just kept slicing it so I have pieces to use in whatever other bowl I want to use, because it gives me consistent thickness cuts to do this with. So I can recut this, do whatever the heck I want, because I still have the spigot on it. I mean, it's not a difficult jig, bless you, not a difficult jig to make, but it's very versatile for doing any of this stuff. And if you get a good, you know, smooth cut, it gives you a nice piece. When you're gluing larger pieces in place, if you mark these, and it's going to stick out, basically all I'm going to do is sand the outer part. I'm not going to sand any of the middle where I'm gluing. I'm just going to sand this edge outside here on both sides so that I have a nice smooth ring that goes on the outside. And makes it real simple to do. With the bowl that was on the inside recessed, that particular one, when I was sanding it, yeah. When I was running this on my disc sander, I just made a small piece here to hold it in place, because when I drew my lines around this area, around this, I was able to just turn this and not have, even though it's an uneven surface, it made it simple for me to just, by cutting the dowel holes and holding it in place. Your fingers are out of the way, it slides around real nice and easy. So that's what made it so much easier. It's just coming up with some little simple idea like that to fix something. And it's a But the fact that all this was dry and not bent, it all goes back the same every single time, and it holds real well. So I'm looking to cut the rest of this inside of the bowl out, leave this red here so it looks like there's a bowl setting inside of that piece. So next month I'll cut this out and bring it in to show you what it looks like that way. So, but you can if you already had a bowl cut out, this is another way of being able to fasten it back by doing some MDF blocks, gluing them in place with hot melt glue. Put a lot of hot melt glue in there. That way when I cut this, I can take it apart and still put it back together. So that's, what's that? No, my phone's ringing in my ears. So there we go. So, you know, you can take anything you want and save something really easy, you know, to change the way, if you got a piece of bowl that is checking on you, you broke it or something else, if you still got the spigot on the end of it, you can put it on this jig and use it for something else and save the piece. So, what was that? The double cut, what I did, because at that point I was centered like that. I knew my center. I was able to rotate it at 90 and recut it again to do the others. So
You just fasten everything back together.
fasten it all back together. Yeah. So, anybody want to try this?
Could you turn up like identical bowls and then just different species and just take them on and off the...
I can, yeah. And that's the one reason why I cut a bowl and saved all these different inserts, so that I can reuse different species of wood inside of the bowl, because it's given me the same cut every single time because of the way it moves so nice and smooth.
And if you got your chuck set up, and you got a whole bunch of, like, say, 5 different species, and just pop them off.
You can pop them off and keep doing them, yeah.
So yeah, I think you're saying, could you put like a maple at the bottom and a walnut at the top?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can change the species of them.
What are you using for glue?
Just the Type-On 2. Yeah, but they were just different species. And here again, this is where I took a piece that I was wrong and I put it back on and ran it through straight, which I was able to save the spigot of the bowl. I just glued a piece on here that was already cut to that shape and put it back on and reuse it so that I could cut this again, that heart shape again, because it's difficult to cut that heart. So yeah, and I mean, it's just gives you a step up from always doing the same old bowl. So I don't know if everybody's got a bandsaw or not. It's not a tough thing to produce, to make this thing. Pretty simple, and you get a lot of different uses out of it. So, and by being able to change different shapes and things like that, it just makes your product more visible to people. So,
can you explain? I don't understand why I don't see a dark line on the inside?
because I stained the outside of it.
Here's the illusion.
Okay.
That's the one Rusty's gonna be telling everybody.
No, that
Explain how you did this.
that wa- that's my first bowl. That's not ending up out at the fair. That's the first one that I made. It's not ending up out at the fair. So.
It's a beautiful effect. Yeah.
So, I don't know if anybody's interested in doing this, but we'll make President's Challenge for next time, do a small lidded box. If you wanna use this technique, you can do that with the lidded box also. And, you know, kinda win an extra ticket in there.
I mean, if somebody wants measurements or photos of this thing, I'll be happy to give you measurements and stuff on it or whatever. Like I said, it's pretty simple to make, but it's very, very useful for so many different things. And I did a vase that was in the shape of a large heart, and after I did it, I wanted a hole drilled down through the center so that I could put a glass cylinder inside of it so it can actually be used as a vase. At that point, I put this, attached it to my drill press stand because it held the piece for me, and I was able to put it and run my drill press and drill through the piece with it. So I've just adapted it to so many different aspects of what I want to work on. So, but it's
That's great, thank you.
okay. Like I said, if anybody wants to try it, well, it's hooked up, more than welcome. Give it a shot, see how nice it works, smooth it works. And I was shocked that they had a good blade in here.
Okay, so start off by.
It's more like a metal.
Well, okay, at this point right now, I just want to,
Yeah.
if you want to go 1/4 of an inch, all you're doing is moving this up 1/4, lock that in place. Yeah,
That blade was sharp.
it's still sharp. It didn't
It's
dull
still
that
sharp.
blade.
I was going very slow because my hands.
It didn't dull that blade.
Right.
So I was like, that's pretty thin. Piece.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very cool. Great. So were you you said you got a McMaster's?
McMaster car, yeah.
Yeah, they sell the rod in short lengths or long lengths?
I bought a 1 foot length, and I think I bought
Okay.
6 or 8 of those nuts. So
6 rated. What do you need 6 rated for?
Whatever that.
Just in case you lose.
John Lilly's got one because John Lilly wanted this jig also,
so I put a bolt together for him. I've used others of the nuts where I've made plates that go on my lathe for sanding discs and stuff like that, so I was able to reuse them by epoxying them into a blank and using them.
If you ever need nuts and bolts, there's a company in Tonawanda that's called TR Gold.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They sell, and nuts, any kind of faster washers,
Yeah.
nuts, bolts.
Yeah.
But that's right by my,
All yours, okay.
my
This is
1/8"
yeah,
flat
this
washer
planning
for my
about
sailor.
Mm.
Yeah. Nice.
TR
Very
Gold.
cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
yeah.
Okay.
Colvin.
Anybody can help put away stuff, we appreciate it. So you go, there's a meetings address.
She's out right on the pool.
We give gift cards to